Good afternoon and welcome to the Beacon Today. I'm Kalie Thacker alongside Veronica Vaughan. In recent times, we've seen a surge of difficult issues dominating the news, both domestically and internationally. Today, we'll see a range of issues like anti-Semitism to economical and political issues.
Later, we'll be talking about how new technology is changing the environment of our education.
But first, we have a story from Veronica Vaughan talking about how generational trauma is affecting the Jewish American culture.
West Palm Beach has faced multiple anti-Semitic acts in the past few months, which has impacted the lives of many Jewish members here in Florida. John Poles, South Florida psychotherapist, has been in practice since 2016.
May have had families in the Holocaust, the anxiety around that and the impact can get passed on, to your kids and generations afterwards.
New York-born Rabbi Moshe Shiner of the Palm Beach Synagogue has been a light to his congregation when dealing with prejudice towards their community.
And there's more extremism than ever before. The two sides are going further, whether it's from the right or from the left. It tends to start seeking to scapegoat and blame others for the woes and the problems in society.
Rabbi Moshe is using his standing as rabbi to inspire the congregation to take pride in their history.
And so as the rabbi, I'll address that and try to strengthen or encourage people to never hide their Judaism or try to, cower in the face of it.
Rabbi Michael Resnick of the Temple Emmanuel, just a few minutes from the Palm Beach Synagogue, aims to use education as a way of breaking the cycle of hate.
By investing in education, teach them the truth about a lot of different issues that are often brought up about Jews. Just maybe we can short circuit this never-ending gobstopper of anti-Semitism.
I'm Veronica Vaughan with the Beacon Today. Next, we'll be discussing the significant issue of gun violence in the U.S. The Beacon Today's Kalie Thacker has more.
In recent years, violent shootings have been on the rise in the United States. This year, there's already been 148 mass shootings. School shootings in particular have begun to catch the attention of the public. Aaron Rasmussen, a fourth grade teacher at La Vista West Elementary School in Omaha, Nebraska, says, "The school shootings make me more fearful of what could happen in my own school or school district." Schools across the country are looking into the top security and training drills for safety of their students. Keith Overholt, the assistant principal at Lakeland Christian School in Lakeland, Florida, says, "We have hired an SRO, a school resource officer, to be on campus every day. This is a full-time position. We have increased training to deal with potential threats and increased drills for lockdown and heightened security situations." Mental illness in our nation has been on the rise in recent years, and this could be a reason for a growth in gun violence. According to World Health Organization, there has been a 13% rise in mental health conditions and substance use disorders in the last decade. Aaron Rasmussen claims, "Good mental health needs to continue to increase for both our elementary students and for their parents." More than 1 in 5 U.S. adults live with a mental illness, according to Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. This shows about 60 million Americans in 2021 suffered from a mental illness. Jody Baranowski, a toddler teacher at Montessori County Day School in Reading, Pennsylvania, encourages the nation with 2 Timothy 1:7, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of sound mind." As Christians, we need to be a light to those who are depressed, confused, and angry. We need to be kind to all and pray for those who are confused and feel as though they need to hurt others. I'm Kalie Thacker, reporting with the Beacon Today. It is widely known that the price of living is increasing, and this is also seen in traveling. Up next, we have a story about the cost of traveling and how plane tickets are increasing. Reporter Jordan Wolfe has more.
Travel costs have risen exponentially in the last few years.
Dennis Sweet, a corporate pilot, discusses how the cost of goods have caused a rise in the airline prices.
What happened is because of the supply chain shortage, for one thing, which affected the cars so bad. Now, all of a sudden, everybody is traveling.
This graph displays the travel prices compared with pre-pandemic levels.
Our CFO told us that nobody's going to fly on the airlines. We're going to take the jets everywhere. I who want to travel on the airlines, the costs have gone up because food is more, airline tickets are more.
People traveling for work as well, such as Ben Borenstein, have had to come up with various solutions to get the costs cheaper.
I know with inflation and everything, there definitely are some travel costs that are increasing. I think for me, I try to take advantage of when I can travel flexibly and find good deals.
And it's not just those traveling for pleasure. Rachel Noonan has had to fly to New York City multiple times a month for medical procedures and has found more cost-efficient ways, such as flying privately.
Kevin Massey, an independent travel agent with United, said he thinks that the airlines priced themselves too low years ago.
If people are still going to fly, so why should we just charge $120 to fly? We'll charge $420 to fly. I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm always amazed. Washington to San Francisco is, first class is $2,500 now.
I'm Jordan Wolfe, reporting for The Beacon today. As Russia and Ukraine have been in conflict for over a year, many European nations have been coordinating efforts to resolve the aggression. Nations throughout Europe have been joining NATO in response to the threats made by Russia. But how will this affect the nations involved and its citizens? Cooper Ray has more.
European nations are currently being urged to join NATO in response to Russia's attacks on Ukraine. In May 2022, both Finland and Sweden made applications on their nation's behalf to request entry to NATO. In April 2023, Finland officially joined NATO, and Sweden is expected to be joining in the near future. The call to join NATO was sparked when Vladimir Putin began to escalate attacks on Ukraine beginning in February 2022. Russia has launched numerous attacks on Ukraine, displacing roughly 14 million people. Other nations fear that if Russia successfully overtakes Ukraine, they will move to capture other countries in Eastern Europe. In a statement to press, Jens Stoltenberg said, quote, "Joining NATO is good for Finland, and it is good for Nordic security, and is good for NATO as a whole. President Putin wanted to slam NATO's door shut. Today we show the world that he failed, that aggression and intimidation do not work." NATO is working closely with Swedish President Ulf Kristersson as official integration into NATO is likely to take place in the coming months. In an interview with Dr. Robert Rabel, professor of political sciences at FAU, he says, quote, "Many in Finland were against the invasion and supported their country's membership in NATO. Today, Finland is a member of NATO." Sweden, like Finland, condemned Russia's invasion of Ukraine, but based on interviews, I have doubts a majority in Sweden supported their country's membership in NATO. Sweden has been a neutral country for some time now, including during World War II. Rabel says that Sweden's interest in joining NATO is a historic moment, as the nation has remained historically neutral during times of conflict. With Russian violence escalating, nations joining NATO ensures a greater alliance against Russia, but it also may come with the consequence of retaliation. NATO leaders, as well as national leaders, must coordinate strategically against Russia to ensure an effective defense against the potential retaliation. Reporting for The Beacon today, my name is Cooper Ray.
Artificial intelligence is something that we've been debating for decades. What we thought was years away is now around the corner. Osvaldo Godoy has more on this topic and how it's been affecting college environments.
ChatGPT has become a popular tool among college students recently.
ChatGPT is probably the next step in technical tools. It is an interpretive language engine, so it allows you to use sort of a computerized brain to interpret your request and produce content for you.
Since ChatGPT launched in November of 2022, more and more college students started to use it for academic purposes.
I use it more for like research questions or like things that I want to know about, because I think it's like the responses are better than what Google tells you. I think I use it every day. The people that I know use it too. I don't know how often they use it, but I know they're now it's getting used more frequently.
The main concern that arises to professors and students with this new landscape has to do with plagiarism.
Personally, I'm not afraid of it because it's not like I just copy and paste what it tells me. I just like use it like to be able to make up my mind or to understand like further where I'm like the topics I'm trying to get into.
I would say if any faculty are listening, really examine your discipline and what it means for a user or a student to really know the material. Is it important that they have a perfect memorization of material, or is it important that that student knows how to get the right answer?
Another question that stands up is whether schools should restrict this kind of tool to students. For Ryan Kivet, we are at a point where going back seems impossible.
And I think it's very important for each school or of thought to have an internal debate about how this tool can be used. Because a blanket rejection is not going to be successful.
As we wrap up today's show, we hope we shed a light on the most pressing issues of our time, from gun violence to rising travel costs to the impacts of new technology on education. I'm Veronica Vaughan.
And I'm Kalie Thacker. Thank you for listening to The Beacon today.